Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Texas Outlaw Running Talk Show. This is Season 2, Episode 4. It's 4, right, Carly? It's 4. And today, hold on, I forgot to tell you who I am. I'm Briston Rains, I'm the host. My co-host today is...
Asher Hamlin.
Asher, who are you?
I'm a race director for Texas Outlaw Running Company.
Yeah. And if you're watching video, excuse our attire. It's like almost 8 o'clock in the evening. We just ate dinner together and did not plan to do this. So that's why I'm in short shorts and a t-shirt, typical running apparel. So, anywho, but glad y'all could join us for another episode. Glad Asher's in the office. Asher, what do you think about the office?
I like it, man.
Yeah.
Feels good to be in y'all's office.
Yeah.
Finally seeing it in person. It's a lot more spacious in here than it looks. I'm sure this wall just looks, but yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah. I can't see that, Carly. Carly's trying to show me some note. I don't know. No, because the light's behind you. But anyways, Asher, what you've been race directing for about a year now, and for Texas Outlaw, and so I just wanted you to kind of share a little bit about, what it's been like being a full-time race director, and feel free to fill people in on anything if, they're brand new listeners. So.
Yeah, so I started about a year ago, like this month. I think July 1st was my first official date.
Yep.
Got my first paycheck from Briston and Company. I think at the end of the month, so it was like the first full month that I worked was July of 2024.
Yep.
So I moved up here. As some of our OG listeners will know, I was living in Florida for about a year and a half, or maybe a year. It was about a year, and
we filmed a Shooting the Bull episode every week for 100 weeks in a row.
That was crazy. So we did the Shooting the Bull, on a super consistent schedule, and about the time I moved here, I think we recorded 1 or 2 podcasts because we did the one in the woods.
Yeah.
At some state park.
We got so busy and schedules got crazy, so we just kind of stopped. But
I don't think we could ever find a really consistent time of the day or of the week where we were able to do Shooting the Bull. So I think we called it at 100 episodes. But anyways, I started race directing full time July 1st.
Yep.
My first race was the Noche, which is literally not this weekend, not next weekend, but the next.
Yep.
So it was a quick turnaround coming from Florida, moving here. I was also getting married around the same time that I was moving here, so it was a really busy couple months. And I don't know, man. It's just been race directing, in a word, is exciting. Still, to this day.
How many races have you think you race directed between now and last year and when you first started?
Probably 30.
30?
25 or 30. Yeah.
25 to 30 events?
It's been a lot. So whenever I came on full time, I pretty much immediately went into 2 events a month.
Yeah.
So if I've been doing it for about a year, plus 1 or 2 months where I did at least 3, probably like 24 to 26, somewhere in there. And it's been awesome. There have been a couple really, really busy months. There have been some slower months. There have been some crazy races, some easy races.
Tell everybody about the craziest ones you've done. I already know 2, but I'm going to let you tell them.
The craziest. All right, so the craziest has got to be, 2025 has just been a freaking wild year for whatever reason.
Golly.
As you know, we've had a slew of races that have either been canceled, and then relocated, or canceled all together, and just some crazy weather has hit several of them. So the craziest has been the West Texas Ultra of this year.
I knew you were going to say that one.
Which initially was supposed to be held at Lake Meredith. And I was excited to get out there, but about a week out, we come to find out, or it might have been even a little longer than that.
It was a few days before.
We started seeing that there was going to be a blizzard on the day of the race. And initially it started out as like cold rain, and then it was snow, and then it was like icy snow, and it was like there was gonna be a lot of wind the day of. So we get a call from the state park, and they're like, hey, if it persists, we all are not gonna be able to hold your race at Lake Meredith. So this is the first time we've ever had to do this, I think, right, Briston?
Yeah, this is the first time.
So we hop on the Google machine, and we start looking for trails that are still in West Texas that we might be able to use, because we're like, we don't want to outright cancel on these basically 250 people.
Well, this race is also part of a series, so like
Right.
it has to happen.
Yep.
Because people sign up for the series, people are trying to collect the medals. Like this race has to happen. So.
Yeah, so it's part of the big Texas Ultra Series that we do.
Yeah.
And probably one of the biggest out of the 4 that we do that lead up to the big Texas Ultra.
Yeah.
And so we luckily have some friends out in West Texas, Philip Sebastiani and crew, High Plains Elite.
Yep.
And they knew of this trail system that was close to Lake Meredith, but about 45 minutes south in Canyon where they lived. And this trail system is like these mountain bike trails that it looks like a game of Snake. I don't know if anybody's ever played Snake, but it looks like that. Just a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so we were like, well, I guess we can try and host it there. So we come up with a course map, like literally 2 days before I call the city. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, can we use this trail for an event on Saturday? And it's like Thursday. And they're like, let me check the calendar. And so they hang up on me, and or they're like, let me call you back. And so I get a call back 15 minutes later, and she's like, well, I just talked to the park superintendent. Y'all should be good. I was like, yes, because that never happens. You know, if you're trying to put on an event in East Texas anywhere, or like Austin or San Antonio or any of the big cities, it's almost impossible to get anything done in even several months. So to be able to do it in a couple days, 2 days, is freaking wild. And so we then needed to figure out parking. And so there was some parking that was across the street. And I was like, well, who owns that? The school district. So I called the school district. I'm like, hey, can we park like 150 people in this parking lot? And they're like, yeah, let me put it on the calendar. So boom, that was done. Yeah. And so all these things just started working themselves out. And it was really just a blessing that it worked out at the end of it. But we get to race day. It was wild because the day before was literally like 70 degrees and sunny, and it would have been the perfect day to hold the race. Well, the day after, I get out there at like 4 or something, and there's already these ice particles falling from the sky, and the wind is starting to pick up, and our tents are starting to blow around, and I'm like, oh boy, we're in for a day. And just progressively throughout the day, it became more and more and more of a blizzard, to the point where probably 10 a.m., it was so windy and there was so much snow and rain. Like literally, it was blowing sideways, and I'm out there in the elements. It's blowing into my eyes. And all these runners, like some runners had the foresight to put on ski goggles for the race, which also created some epic pictures. But a ton of people showed up. We had a lot of deferrals from that race, but we still had a lot of people that showed up and braved the winter rain. And it was just it was an awesome day. That was probably, although it was the craziest day, or one of the craziest races I put on, it was probably the most fun I've had. I had so much fun.
Yeah, the temperatures were below below freezing.
Yep.
And it was 50-mile-an-hour wind gust and like several feet of snow, or a couple feet of snow.
Yeah, so by like 5 p.m. and the wind had died down completely and the sun started coming out, there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground at all the places that, the runners hadn't been running. And just puddles of like, melted snow everywhere. It was crazy. Yeah. It was so wild because that day the wind chill had gotten down to like -5, and the next day it was 70 degrees and sunny. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
I think we had something going on that weekend, so we couldn't be there. But I wanted to be there because of how
Yeah.
crazy it was gonna be. So
Could probably do an entire podcast on
yeah,
that race itself, but
yeah. But
How'd y'all meet?
you don't know how we met, Carly?
No.
No, I was being sarcastic. No, Asher and I both met in college. I think the first time I met Asher, I was at a cross country practice, and no, I was at an ultimate frisbee with the team, and Asher shows up with these giant muscles and calf muscles. He looked like a football player walking up. He's like, "Hi, I'm Asher. I'm the cross country team captain."
it's like, what? You don't look like a cross country runner.
Yeah, so that's how Asher and I met.
Yep.
Ultimate frisbee.
And then y'all were roommates?
Yep. Roommates way back. Roommates my senior year.
Yeah,
Your sophomore year.
Yeah, we roomed for a year.
That was cool.
Yep.
So what was it like watching Briston start the business and build it in the dorm room?
So Carly's question was, what was it like watching you grow the business in the dorm room? I remember a lot of days where Briston would just be at his computer. You just be at your computer doing whatever. A lot of this, which you still do to this day. He'll go like, and I
Because I'm over there grinding.
I
man.
put my left hand on my chin and did my other hand like I was moving a mouse. Because that's like the position I would see Briston in like 90% of the time. He was on his computer. So yeah, a lot of that. And then he probably also got really annoyed that I would play video games with a couple other teammates.
I thought it was such a waste of time.
It was a total waste of time.
I'd roast him, man.
I'm
I'd
very
be like,
thankful that I don't play video games anymore. I've grown out of that.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
I was like, dude, you could be doing something better.
Yeah, while Briston was building a business, I was playing Call of Duty. But it was all fun, so you know, I don't regret it. I don't regret anything. No, but it was cool. Yeah, I've been here since the start. Like, I remember the first race we went and did was the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
You had done one race prior to that. You went and did the Cook County Patriot 5K.
Well, the Chupacabra was the first ever trail race we
Yeah.
hosted. And I remember like a week before, I was like, Asher, I'll fly you out from Arkansas to Dallas to
So-
pick you up.
So for those that don't know, which this is history, probably very few people know.
That video is on YouTube, by the way, of our first ever trail race. It's
Really?
on YouTube, where I picked you up from the airport. That's all on YouTube. It's on my
Oh
personal
yeah, you
channel.
did vlog the whole thing.
Yeah, it's on. I think it's under Briston Reigns on YouTube. However long ago.
I need to go watch
But
that.
yeah, that whole video was that. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah. So that would have been the first race I attended, and Briston and I were living together. We were in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
Yep.
training for cross country my
No,
senior
that
year.
was a year after.
What was?
We were living in Fayetteville the year after this first Chupacabra race.
You sure?
Yeah, because that summer we picked it up, and we're doing a little more, I think.
No, because Cook County Patriot was 2020,
Mm.
and then the first year you did Chupacabra was 2021.
Because we were dating.
Yep, and y'all were dating.
Oh, okay. I don't
Because
know.
we did Chupacabra in East Texas and the one that we only did once.
We'll go with it.
What was the one we only did once?
Oh,
Diablo.
Pablo and Mary.
Texas Diablo
Texas
Marathon.
Diablo Marathon. That's probably the other crazy one.
Yep.
It's just like a shock to the system.
Golly.
Um,
We'll talk about that another time. You could probably
Yeah.
find an old Shooting the Wool episode.
yeah, we definitely talked about it at some point. No, but from there, you know, we've definitely become a lot more professional. It's like
Yeah.
our standard went from, all right, we're just trying to make it. We're trying to make a decent event for all these people. Now it's like we know how to make a good event, and we do it like back to back to back to back to back to back to back on every other weekend, which is a crazy schedule. But I think, you know, for young guys and girls, it's like a schedule that's good, keeps you busy, and like weekends are hard. I think that's what I've learned like over the course of doing it for a year is like you're gonna grind for a weekend, kind of, and it's opposite to what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is grinding throughout the week, and then they're living for the weekend. Well, we're like building up to the weekend, and then our weekend is crazy, and then it's like, okay, we get to go chill this next week, which is kind of nice, but I don't know.
Talk about like work life as a race director, like your work and then your personal life and kind of what that looks like. Because I'm sure people are curious. Like people probably just think, you show up Friday, set up, put on the race Saturday, go home Sunday, and then that's it for the next 10 days.
Yeah. So recently, I've been doing a lot more of the like permitting and like getting stuff for the races, all the medals, the shirts, and that it was good the way we scaled or built into all that I do now.
Yeah, slowly did it.
Yeah, and it wasn't, which initially it was like there are a lot of things on my plate, but I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. And I don't know, I think what people most think about is like, it's like you only show up on Friday and then you do the race on Saturday and you pack up Sunday and you're done. It's like, I am thinking about the race from Monday that week. It's like, okay, like what's my schedule look like for the rest of the week to be able to go put on a good race? How many days do I need to prepare, like, for all the things I got to put in the trailer? Are all my things here that I need? Do I have all my shirts? Do I have all my medals? Do I have like sponsor banners? There's just all these little things that go into the race that, especially when you're doing a race in like West Texas and you got to make a 6-hour drive. It's like you're only going to be able to make that once and do the event. You're not going to be able to go there, realize you forgot something, go back, and then come back for the event. So
yeah, one year at the North Texas Ultra, I forgot our 10 by 20 foot carport that we use as an aid station. Mm-hmm. And it was the day before the evening before the race when I realized that. And all of our stuff was back in, I think, Magnolia, Arkansas. And I drove like 6 to 8 hours. So we had to go purchase a super cheap one at Tractor Supply in Jacksboro, Texas. And you still have that one, but it's never used. It sits there because it was terrible, but it worked.
The white one?
Yeah, the white one.
The white one. The Desert Wolf in 2024. I don't think I ever told you this.
Uh-oh.
I forgot the packet pickup box in the storage unit, which luckily, so we live in Waco, me and my wife, Mackenzie, and so we're like super central to pretty much every single race except for the West Texas ones. So everything is pretty much within a 3-hour drive. So like the Desert Wolf is south of Austin by 30 minutes. And so I was like, it was like the day before, I was like, Kenzie, I need you to go pick up the packet pickup box because I don't have any bibs. And so, like, that's one of the most essential things. Because I was like, well, maybe we could just go buy paper and, like, write numbers. I was like, no, we need the thing. So she graciously drove up 3 hours, grabbed all the stuff, and drove back. And we made it work. But it's like...
I've had to do that a few times. Like, my dad, one time, I had forgotten... medals didn't come in time for the East Texas Ultra, and it was the day before, and they finally came the day before the race, and so that was 3 hours away. So I called my dad. He met me halfway. Yep. So.
What's it like having Briston as a boss, going from friends to like a boss and a coworker?
Yeah.
You wanna repeat that question?
Yeah. So Carly's question was, what's it been like going with Briston, from us as like friends, and now he's in more of a boss role. I would say it's like we've had our struggles, we've had our differences.
Yeah.
But if anything, it's probably strengthened our relationship more than, because like now, and I'm sure we'll continue to. I think what we've learned is we have to communicate really well, and it's good because we have an open relationship where. Or at least now we do, where it's like, we're going to come to each other with stuff and, like, let's just talk about it. Let's just put it on the table instead of harbor any sort of ill will or things that we feel like, oh, maybe it shouldn't be said or maybe it should. So that's been good.
Yeah.
And there was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah,
But-
because I mean, when you're 20-something years old and you're put into a position to where like you're supposed to manage things, I feel like you get in your head like, oh, this will be easy, and then you start doing it, and it's like like my attitude was the wrong way, or like I shouldn't have said things the way I said them, or I shouldn't have done things. Like there's so much, and then there's this whole other world of like managing and.
Yeah.
And like there's all this like there's actually a strategy to it, and like it's not just this thing that in my head that I thought you can just like naturally do. Like you actually have to learn how to, I guess, be a boss, if you want to say that. I don't like using that because I feel like it elevates
A leader.
Yeah, I don't like using the word boss because I feel like it elevates you over everybody else. When in reality it's an equal playing field. Like things don't happen without Asher. Things don't happen without me. Things don't happen without Carly. Like we're on an even playing field.
Yep.
But yeah, so it has definitely been a big learning curve. Even still now, like there's things that I'm still learning like right now as I'm talking that I'm like, oh, like I should have done that way better. I should not have done that way or said that or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
But
so
it's been good because like it's also given me an opportunity to like, I gotta obviously have to figure out my own stuff and like become a better communicator for like the business, and I have to like want the most for Texas Outlaw, and so that's helpful because it makes me feel more invested in the business, but it's also taught me like how to have grace about that kind of thing, which is good.
yeah, which we kind of veered off the work-life balance topic, talking about forgetting stuff.
Yeah.
But I do want to bounce back to that real quick and give people a picture of like what that fully does look like. Like obviously, like the day that you had explained the week, you're getting everything ready,
Yeah.
making sure you have all your stuff, getting stuff packed in the trailer.
Yeah, I'd say that there are just a lot of little things that have to be done prior to race day, like even right now. So we have a race tomorrow night, and today one of the things I need to do before I'll go to bed. It's kind of like you're always on the clock. It's one of those positions where if there is a race, you're going to be on the clock from kind of when you wake up to whenever you leave the day you wake, or when you wake up the day you leave till the night you go to sleep after you're back home. Like you're just on the clock constantly.
Yeah. It's kind of like a first responder kind
Yeah.
of deal, to where it's like they're on the clock for like 48 hours, and it's like they're always like on the job for that whole time.
So like right now, because we have a race tomorrow night, I got to send out an email that needs to go to all our volunteers that like I have to do before I can go to bed. So there are just like little things like that I feel like nobody sees happen unless you're. So I've had a lot of volunteers that have come to races and they have only ever run, just run the races their whole lives, and then they finally come and volunteered at one, and they're like, it's like totally different behind the scenes. Like even the people that I'll have stand at the finish line and hand out medals, they're like, I see all that goes on from your perspective now. I'm not just the one that's like passing the finish line. I'm kind of sitting back here and watching you as the race director and watching everybody and how everything's coordinated. It's like there's a lot. Like yeah. There is.
And people will pick about the little things because we truly like our goal is to make everybody happy and for everybody to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like we're not arrogant about the way, like we don't forget things. Like we have lists and things, and I just think of like times I've hosted races and like I did all the stuff right, but there's a few things that I was so busy that I couldn't fix or get to that had some errors to it, and people will pick at those little things, at the little 1% thing, but I did 99% of the things right.
Yeah.
And they don't really acknowledge that. But when you are behind the scenes, you see the 99% you do right, and then you also see the 1% you do wrong, and you're like, oh, I want to do better next time.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah, at the to jump back to a race, the Desert Wolf in 2024, a guy. It's crazy that I remember these little things. A guy came up to me after the race, and he won. He actually won the 100K. He's this older guy from Canada, and he was like, the race was great. Like, you did a great job, because I don't know how he knew. I think I might have told him that I was like just starting to race direct, but he was like, the one thing is you need more chairs. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you need more races, or you need more places to sit at the aid stations. I was like, okay. I was
Yeah.
like, fine. That's a good thing to think about. So it's just there's always gonna be something, but it's always things that like we could make improvements on,
right.
in a way. So yeah.
What's your favorite part?
Carly just asked, what's your favorite part?
Favorite part of being a race director? I really love the flexibility of just kind of being able to get stuff done when I need to get stuff done.
Yep.
Like, it's super nice to, kind of, if I pre-plan a day that it's like not a race week, it'll be like, all right, I know I gotta get up and get these couple things done, whether it's on the computer, answer a couple emails, or maybe send a permit in or something. And then like either I have freedom for the rest of the day, or I can knock up other personal things out.
Yep.
So that's really nice. And then also I'll say, like, just about the races themselves, it's like we have tasks to do for each race leading up to it, but we also have the freedom to get those tasks done just in a timely manner prior to the race. And as long as that happens, you're going to have a successful race. And so it's funny, man. You and I'm sure you experienced this and are experiencing this. It's like you get good at kind of knowing, hey, that's probably going to take an hour. This is probably going to take 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to kind of plan your day around that.
It's funny
Throw your
because
meals in. Yeah.
when Carly and it's funny because this past year I was working a full-time job somewhere else, and Carly would stay at home. And it's funny because we would talk about like going somewhere or scheduling something, and she would be like, "Oh, it's only 5 o'clock," and I know in my head, because as a race director, your brain programs it, but in your head you're like calculating like, okay, it's gonna take 5 minutes to get in the car, it's gonna take a minute in the car to do this, it's gonna take 10 minutes to do this, and so I'm like. She thinks it was gonna be like, oh, we'll be there at 6, but I was like, or she'd be like, oh, it's only 4:30, we don't have to leave till 5, and I'm like in my head thinking like, okay, all this stuff's gonna take an hour, and guess what? I was right.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you get really good at just estimating.
Yeah.
You're like, I know my day is probably gonna take like until my lunch, like ideally it'd be like 12.
Yeah.
But because I got to go course mark and it's this number of miles, I know it's going to be like 1:30 before I get to eat lunch.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's crazy.
You start just calculating stuff in your head. Like when you're course marking, you're like, all right, I'm going 20, 30-minute mile pace. I'll be done at this time, or it's going to take this time.
Yep.
And then I really like what you said about the flexibility. That's one thing I miss that I absolutely love about being a race director is when I was working my job, I couldn't just leave and go do stuff when I needed to get stuff done. Like take Bradley to her baby appointments, or take the dogs to get their shots, or go check the mail. It's like I had to fight and like drive fast to get to these places.
Yeah.
And like I had to take days off and like do all this stuff, and it was like a battle to just do things that I needed to get done in my personal life. But as a race director, like, yeah, you have an entire week to where you're working and you can't just get up and leave and go do stuff because you're in a different city. But the next week that you don't have an event, it's like you can get your stuff done, but you can also leave and go meet with somebody, or go to a doctor's appointment, or like you can just it's the flexibility is one of my favorite things too, as far as the work-life balance side of things.
And you're gonna work like, no doubt, I work crazy hard for that weekend.
It's like 80 hours.
Yeah,
60
you work
to 80.
a crazy number of hours, and I take hours as like, because it's fun. Like I still think it's a lot of fun. Getting to be out on the trail, or being with participants, like that doesn't really feel like work. Like some of the race mornings, those kind of feel like work.
The worst part's like tearing down.
Yeah, setting up, tearing down, that's
Yeah.
a pain. But even with that, I've found hacks. But yeah, you're gonna work a crazy hard weekend, and then it's like, okay, now I've got some serious downtime afterwards, which is nice.
And then you start to like look forward to certain races because they're shorter.
Yeah,
You're like,
Right.
oh, this one's only gonna last till noon.
it's gonna be really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my new favorite ultra distance is the 50K.
Yeah. 'Cause it's like it's over in 8 hours,
Because
10
it's
hours.
it's just easy and it's still an ultra. Yeah,
Yep.
but
And everybody listening to this from like a participant runner side, they're like, oh, I never even thought about any of this, you know.
yeah,
And as far as like personal life wise, it's awesome, and then job wise too, it's even
It is
it's
super
great.
fun.
Like when you're out there, I mean, it just feels like a fun job. Like
it is.
um,
And I think it's because it's so interactive all day. You're just interacting with people,
yeah,
and they're having a great time most of the time. And like you reciprocate that, you're like, oh, I'm having a great time too. Like
Yeah.
the West Texas, man, because all of those people were out there in the elements, still having fun. It just made me so joyful. Like I was just filled with joy, and I was like, this is awesome. Like y'all are freaking awesome.
and I don't know about you, but the time goes by fast whenever you are,
Yeah.
like because you're doing something all day, like you're doing something all day pretty much, and like the time flies. Like if I'm race directing a race for 18 or 24 hours, like it does not feel like 18, 24 hours. I look at my clock sometimes, I'm like, it's 2, and it like we started at 6 in the morning. I'm like, it's already 2.
I say that all the time. I'll
Yeah.
like look at Mackenzie or like Josh, our photographer or something. I'll be like, it's already 11 a.m. Like when did it? Like where did 4 hours go or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just all that human connection and so much is going on. It's so high energy for those first hours.
Yeah.
But I will say, with our smaller ultras, whenever you get to like that 2 o'clock mark and you only got
3 people.
a couple ultra runners left on the course,
Yep.
and you're just waiting for them to complete their laps. It's like, okay, now it's slow. We're just chilling.
Yep. Get to hang
But
out.
it's fun otherwise.
Yep. So, but we're out about all the time. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1, you can leave a 5-star review. Number 2, you can share this with somebody you think would like to listen to it. And then if you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, you can email us, texasoutlawnrunning@gmail.com. Asher, you got anything extra? Or?
I'm excited for another year to come with Texas Outlaw.
Yeah.
2020, the end of 2024, 2025 has been awesome so far. I think we'll finish out well. And then, looking forward to 2026 and beyond.
What do you, real quick, I know we're about to end, but what are you looking forward to about 2026? I know we are going to have a little less events, but they're going to be bigger. So
I'm excited to create. I'm going to be creating my own.
that's the first kind of, it is the first actually. Like you
Of my
actually be
own.
able to create your own events.
Yeah, so I've created,
Feel the
I
burn.
guess, the Feel the Burn
Yeah.
and a couple others, but yeah, getting to put some of my own in there is going to be a lot of fun. And then just building up the big ones that we already have. I'm really excited for like Cowboy Yeti next year. It's probably going to be crazy.
Hopefully Mackenzie holds the baby in by then.
Yeah. Right. We'll see.
Because she is due around that race. So
Yeah.
if she's due and the baby's coming, I'm going to be lone soldier over there.
Sole race director out there.
Golly, and there's so many people that go to that one.
Yep.
Cowboy Yeti in January, Bastrop.
Yep.
Everybody just likes the logo. They like the Yeti.
Yep. Be a good one. But yeah. Happy trails otherwise. I hope to see all of you at a race sometime soon.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of the Texas Outlaw Running Talk Show.